Welcome everybody to another episode of Barbershop Conversations. I am blessed and thankful and highly favored because God has blessed me with another opportunity to come before you and talk about the things that most folks think brothers don't talk about. So tonight, I've been blessed to have two of my boys who I can say we've known each other for years. I mean, all the way back to our adolescence times. We've worked together, we've played together. And I'm excited that we are all sitting at the table together today to talk about something that's near and dear to each of us, which is parenting. All of us are dads. All of us have a passion for taking care of not only our kids, but other people's children even. But we are excited to come to the table today, pull the covers back, and talk about this thing called parenting from the Black man's perspective, from how we are and have been portrayed for years, whether it be in media and TV and movies or wherever, as these absentee guys who don't really care, who aren't connected to our children. We're going to break that tonight. We're going to break that stigma. We're going to tear that wall down because I know that these two brothers, like myself, are passionate about being dads. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that tonight. We'll have some fun while we're doing it. And we're going to captivate some folks, hopefully, to start doing some things differently, even, and some of the things that we might share. So I'm going to get each of ththese brothers an opportunity to introduce themselves. I don't want to do any injustice because, I'm in the room right now with two legends. One of them more than the other. He's world renowned. The other one might just be along the East Coast corridor.
Yeah, right.
I'm going to start with my brother, Wesley. Give a quick introduction, bro. And then we'll go to my man, Mr. Brian Caver.
You guys can hear me? You can hear me now? Everything
yes,
good?
Sir.
My name is Wesley Little. I'm a father of three sons, actually. Been married for 21 years. Now, it's going to be 22 in March.
Wow.
I am a retired educator. Mm-hmm. I taught in the Trenton Public School System for 13, 14 years before I got hurt, and now I have a nonprofit called the Little's House. I also have a trucking company, and what else, man? What else I got going on, man?
Hey, man, listen, that's your intro, man. I ain't mine. Good. I appreciate that. That was a lot of info.
Right. Yeah, so that's a little bit about myself. I think I'll pass it on to Brother Caver.
Nice. Yes, sir.
Ned, thank you for definitely reaching out. We were supposed to do this previous, but this was the perfect night with my boy Wes on here as well. So, like Ned said, my name is Brian Caver. I am a father of three, with two extended. So I have
nice.
So 5 total. 3 girls, or 4 girls and 1 boy. I worked for Mercer County Special Services. I worked for Juvenile Justice Commission for 8 years before transitioning over to Mercer County Special Service for the last 17.
Nice.
So we've been, like Wesley, we've always been lifelong learners and dealing with the youth since the beginning. Like, I could go back as far as working in the summer with the Urban League in the 10th grade.
Wow. Yeah.
Right.
So,
right.
We've always...
Hats off to Mr. Pintello.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness, right.
So we've always been connected, to our city and our community. That's how we were raised. And I think that's why we're so passionate about being parents and then also the things that we do in the community. I also run a basketball program called Hoop Skills Elite, where, we do some free things for the kids. And throughout the city, I partner with Ned, and we go to these neighborhood parks and give these kids not so much just a place to play, but an opportunity for us to pour into them and kind of get a feel for what they're experiencing and kind of give them some tools to kind of navigate what they're dealing with. So it's definitely a pleasure and an honor to be on with you guys on Barbershop Conversations tonight.
Nice. Listen, I appreciate both of you brothers, man, for stepping to the plate. I didn't have any idea. I had no no question about whether or not you guys would accept the invitation.
Right.
I knew that if I extended the invitation, that I was extending it to brothers that I knew would step up and say, listen, let's have this conversation. Let's talk. Let's keep it real. And so with that, I'm thankful, like I said, for you guys. I know that, we set the topic tonight to talk about, parenting from a male's perspective, from a Black man's perspective in particular. And so I really wanted us to have an opportunity to do that in a way that's transparent, that's real, and it's thoughtful in our delivery, because I don't want anybody to think that this is some, fly-by-night moment. Like Cave mentioned a moment ago, this isn't new hat. For myself, I know for Cave, for Wes, you guys, we all are passionate about what we do. We're thoughtful in our parenting and how we do it, because we know that there's consequences to not doing it the right way. And we've all seen those. We've dealt with kids who've been in situations where parenting was kind of not where it should be or not as level as it could be. Right. And we see the repercussions of that every day. So let's be ready for that. So let's be mindful again, as I stated, in how we deliver what we deliver tonight. I want to jump right into this stuff, dude, tonight. So I hope you guys are ready. Yep. I'm just, I don't have a lot of questions, and I like to just keep it free flowing. But one of the things that I asked, this question was asked of me, and I want to pose this question to you guys. What was the question? The first question that was posed to me was, as a Black man, and I was an older Black man when I had my first child, right? Mm-hmm. My oldest son, I was 32 when I had my first child, and for a lot of my peers and my boys, I was a late bloomer. Like they was like, yo, dude, you just having a kid? Most of them at 32 was like, I got a grand. But the question that was thrown on the table to me was, what were the thoughts that went through my head when my children's mom said to me, I'm pregnant? Like what went through my head and what went through my mind? And I had to think about that for a minute, because I was like, wow, that I'm far removed from that moment. But I had to take a glance back in my past. It's like, yo, dude, for me, first I was terrified. Mm-hmm. Like the thought of being a dad scared the heck out of me, because the only vision I had of a dad at that point in time were the folks who were in my family. My personal father, who, and I'm gonna be real, keep it in 100, wasn't the best husband or father. Like he came with some baggage that he still didn't even know how to manage. And so I'm looking at his perspective of life, and I was like, yo, dude, I just know that I don't want to be at other folks so it scared me to be a father, because I didn't know what to do and how to do it. But I also, the other side of that coin was the heavy responsibility of having to take on the day-to-day, managing of another life. It had me on edge, and it literally changed my whole scope of life. Because I was like, yo, I'm going. Like I laughed and told my son one, I was like, yo, dude, I used to travel like crazy until y'all came along. And it was like, now I'm a dad. It was like, yo, dude, now you can't run off and go hang out, and ain't no Rio trips, and you ain't headed to DR on every other month, and you got to slow it down and bring it back and realize that you're a dad now. So for me, I was terrified. I was, felt the heavy weight of the responsibility of taking control and responsible for somebody else's life, and then just scared I'm gonna make a mistake. Yeah. So those were aspects that hit me, man. I don't know about you brothers, but those things weighed on me heavy.
What, Wes, you want to go?
Yeah.
I will. Man. Yeah. I'll go. I think initially I was terrified too. I was terrified, Ned. What happened with me was, when I first found out that my wife was pregnant, what happened was she had lost a child. The first time she had lost a child.
Were you
and
married
one of the things, say that again, Katie?
Were y'all married at the time? Y'all were married at the time?
No, we weren't.
Okay,
we were not.
Okay, yep.
Okay. Yep.
We were not married. That's a good question, Katie.
Yep.
So what happened was, what was crazy was she was craving Slurpees. She wanted Slurpees and Slurpees and Slurpees. And so
he was on your 7-Eleven run.
Yeah. So I just kept going to get her Slurpees and Slurpees and Slurpees. And what happened was we did not know that when she first got pregnant that she became diabetic. And those Slurpees and Slurpees that she was craving all of that sugar.
That thirst she's trying to quench.
Right. Yeah. That sugar made her lose the first child, unfortunately. So because of the diabetes, like her sugar levels was like crazy high, you know.
Right.
So then I would say probably 5 or 6 months passed, and we got the word that she was pregnant again. And so my first thought about that was I was terrified. I was terrified. I just didn't want to go through what I had just went through again.
Right.
But it was a very rough pregnancy for her because the doctors knew about her sugar at this point that was brought on because of the pregnancy. And so what happened was they had to document every single meal that she ate. They wanted everything. So she had a pretty rough pregnancy. And but yeah, I was a little nervous, but that, just because of his health, I was a little worried about.
Right.
But before as raising them and supporting them and and doing that, I was already a kindergarten teacher, at Gregory. And then and my wife had 2 children before I came around, who I love dearly. So we had already had like a family, so I was ready for it, man. I wanted it, and I'm very grateful for it all, man.
That's huge. Before I go to you, I just want to ask Wes one other question, and forgive me, Kate, for cutting you off.
Right.
So what you made mention, Wes, of the fact that that second time around was kind of tough on her because of the doctor's restrictions, and so what I heard you say, and you didn't actually say these words, but what came across to me was that you were present throughout this pregnancy.
Oh, absolutely. Without a doubt.
Share to me the reasons why that was important to you. Because I mean, a lot of folks think that brothers ain't around during that process, that we don't deal with the pregnancy stuff. Because like you, I was there. Like I remember my ex-wife, she was going through, and it was tough. But I was at every prenatal appointment. Like I was going to the doctor with her. Like, I was there at literally. My son Miles was a preemie. He was a month early, and I remember us that morning going to a prenatal appointment. And then the doctor saying, we're going to put y'all in the hospital because we don't know what's going on. And so share a little bit about that process, man, because I want folks to know that brothers are there through the whole process in a lot of cases.
Oh, absolutely, man. I mean, it was, how do I say it without sounding, it was my seed. It was me. It was me coming to this world. And I definitely needed to be a part of every single step of that. Like it was no way I couldn't be involved with that. It was a journey. I respect it. It was tough, and it was tough for both of us. A lot of doctors' appointments. Very, very grateful for the doctors, and grateful for family too. It was tough on her. And she was huge, she was big, man. And but yeah, Ned, I just felt obligated. Not necessarily obligated, but it was just something that I hadn't. I hadn't thought a second about it. It was my responsibility.
Like, this is what you're supposed to do.
It was just exactly. It was what I was supposed to do, and And I mean, I could take that all the way back to my upbringing and looking at the struggles that my father endured, and just it was just things, man. It's just things that we are supposed to do as men. We definitely we wouldn't want to impregnate a woman and just turn our backs on her. That sounds absurd to a person like myself.
Right. Awesome.
So
Appreciate
yeah,
that,
man,
bro.
that's
Yeah.
pretty much about it.
Good. That's good.
Appreciate you sharing that. Brother Cave, go ahead, man.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's great to hear that, man. It's great to hear that. My situation was a lot different than both of yours. Like Wes, I wasn't married at the time when she told me, but at that time I was still chasing this basketball dream at the same time. So when she told me that she was pregnant, I was in the middle of planning the CBA and getting the deal in Australia at the time. So it wasn't that I didn't want to be there, but I started going back and forth with the being able to provide, thinking that there has to be a certain lifestyle that I need, So I was toying back and forth with, should I go, stay? What did my dad do for us? You get what I'm saying? My dad wasn't around; he had passed away, so I didn't have, I had my brother, but at the same time, that was a decision that I had to make. So I could remember when she told me, it was a shock. It wasn't a shock. Like, listen, let's be honest. I'm sleeping with this girl. Like,
Right.
it wasn't a shock. But at the same time, it's like timing. Like, why now? Like, why now? And it's like,
Yeah.
we had a conversation, and she was like, "No, I'm gonna be okay." And so I decided to go to Australia, and I went halfway around the world to go play, and it just didn't sit right with me. And I just was just like, I need to be there. I can't not be there. So I ultimately made a decision to come home. And that probably was my last time playing professional at that level, because I said, I'm not gonna not be present. I'm gonna be present. You get what I'm saying? So
Yep.
I came home and I made a conscious decision. A lot of people probably don't know that because that was personal to me.
Right.
But that was my, not watching her through the beginning stages of her pregnancy and taking her to the doctors and things like that. I didn't want to miss that part. So I made a conscious decision to just say, listen, basketball is here today, gone tomorrow. At some point, I'm going to be a father until either I leave here or so you get what I'm saying?
That's right. That's right.
Like Wesley said, I took it seriously. I didn't take it as a, just me impregnating a woman and I'm just about to have all these kids. I'm not going to do that. I wasn't raised that way. My mother was my dad, took care of my mom. I watched that. I watched how he took care of us and sacrificed for us. So I decided, I was 26 years old and I said, I'm going to make a conscious decision. Listen, basketball is secondary. If an opportunity presents itself, but this has to be paramount to me.
But you know what's interesting, Cave? I just got to jump in real quick. To me, what's interesting is all of us were pretty up in age, I guess. Were we? I was married when I had my son. At the time, I was 26. I had just turned 26.
Yeah.
And I mean, man, and the Cave was 26. So we were up there a little bit, man.
We had lived. I can't, that's why when I speak at camps or I talk to young men and young women, I used my younger years to kind of chase those dreams. And I was, I was really not saying I was trying to be careful, but at the same time, I was making a conscious choice. If I'm going to chase these things, I'm going to do it without having that type of responsibility, like you said, Ned, because that's a huge responsibility.
It's a huge responsibility.
It's not just, they're cute as babies, but that's a living being. You get what I'm saying?
Right. Who's dependent on you.
Us. Right. Depending on us. Like, thank God for my mom and like you said, we have family to help out, but ultimately that falls on you. So, I was fortunate enough to, we worked through it and, it's never easy, because we still, you have two, separate personalities having to blend to take care of this little small bundle of joy.
That's right.
And that has no clue what the world is about. And we got to teach them what the world is about. So that was my
That's huge. That's huge. So each of us have actually made mention of the fact that, there was, parents involved, family connected that kind of helped us through that transitional moment in our lives, man. So let's think about or share for a moment some of the parenting components, whether it was from mom or dad or an uncle or whoever. What were some of the things that you learned about what parenting looked like before you became a parent?
Oh man. Cave, you want that first? Go ahead,
Yeah,
Cave.
let me get that first. So the one thing that I always like, and I always remember about my father and my mother, like it wasn't always, you know, peaches. We didn't have a whole lot. Like I really like. I moved out of Dolly Homes. I moved a block away. Like I thought I was
Right.
moving to the suburbs. I'm in a house.
Well, the block away from the
But
project.
I'm right by the project. Like you get what I'm saying. But it wasn't the fact that about the things that you had. I just think that I always saw my mother make sure that we went to school, we did our homework, we made sure that we were respectful, and my father always backed her. Like whatever they went through, but they were a united front when it came to us. You get what I'm saying? Whatever that love was, like I used to get teased, Wes, because my dad would walk and come get me and make me come home when it got dark. He used to yell my name, Brian. I used to get teased for that.
But Cave, you got all the reason. You know, come on, man. Come on, man.
Exactly. So you know, as a kid, you don't understand. You don't quite understand that part.
Right.
But
Right.
As an adult and him and they're not being here when he passed away, you kind of look at those lessons of man walking to come make sure your kids are good and you know make like I can remember like this is no lie. He would get like a bag of cookies back in the day and like give them to us and he would just eat the crumbs. Like I didn't understand that because I just wanted to cook. But
wow,
my mom said he would eat the crumbs. Like he would make sure we had it. You know what I mean? Eat the crumbs. You get what I'm saying? Like
and be content with that.
and be content with that. Like you
Right.
know what I'm saying? Like and be content.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like my mother made sure that we had something to eat. Like I remember her stretching stuff and like you remember that stuff, but the big part is that I learned from them is that they were a united front. Whether they were beefing or not. You get what I'm saying? When
Right.
us, listen, y'all gonna take care of the school, y'all gonna stay out of trouble. And we're gonna be on your back until you get up out of here. And you know, I put a lot of that into how I raised my kids. I wanted to make sure when they were outside, I was outside. You know, if they had it, I make sure that I was there. Do you make it all the time? No, but you got to be consistent, and I think that's the biggest thing, man. Just being consistent and you know, not being their friend. Like you know, I want us to have a great relationship, but I'm your parent first.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to say some things to you that you're not going to like. I'm going to take some things from you that you're not going to like, but you'll get it. When that time comes, you'll have a reference later on in life. You know what I'm saying? And I can really appreciate their parenting of me, not only now, but even as a younger adult. I could truly appreciate that stuff.
Nice.
That's
nice.
what's up, kid.
All right.
That's what's up.
Bring it to me, Wes. What you got?
Oh, man, you know, I thought or I think that I have like the quintessential parents.
Right.
I mean, I really do. I promise you. I promise you, Cave Ned, man, I know for a zillion facts. No, I take that back. But I mean, I just wouldn't be here without them.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I just wouldn't be here without them. I'm so grateful. I got the chills all over my arms right now, man.
That's because Big John in your thoughts.
Yes,
Yeah, there you go. Right. And Ned, you know my mother and my father well, man.
Yes, sir.
And,
yes, sir.
And you know, I'm just grateful. I took from my father who they used to call him Big Will back in the day. I don't know if you know him by that. Okay, I don't know
that.
Nah, you don't know him, but Ned know him. But they used to call him Big Will growing, you know, back in the day. And and my dad was strong, man. Strong. You know, he was not necessarily physical, but he was physically strong. But he was, man, my dad beat all kind of addictions, man. You name it, man. You know, he beat heroin, he beat alcohol, he beat, you know, he beat cigarettes. It was to a point where he said he wanted to stop drinking sodas. He stopped drinking sodas. He stopped drinking coffee. You know,
just cold turkey.
Just cold turkey. Yeah. That's the strength. That's the strength that I was talking about. You know, and the dedication to us boys. He had also 3 sons. I'm the middle child. So, you know, the dedication that my dad showed and my mom, man, the support, the loving, the nurturing, the cooking, the man, hey Ned, hey Cave, man, everybody. Well, I ain't gonna say everybody, but not many people who I hung out with out in Wilbur section, and not all of us had mom and dad. I was extremely blessed to have mom and dad, and my mom and dad was all of my boys' mom and dad.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So man, you know, I'm just grateful for them, man. And like Cave said, I brought a lot of what I saw as a young person to my parenting today, man.
Nice. Yeah, that's huge. And I think, you know, in that aspect, I think a lot of us are all on the same page, because as I'm listening to Cave and listening to you, Wes, talking, I think Cave, we lost him for a second, but hopefully he'll jump back on.
Right.
You know, that process for us was similar, because I mean, you know, I had mom and dad in the house together, you know, and there were so many times where even when mom might have had one thought process and dad had another thought process, you know, the end result was still, even if my mom didn't agree with dad, she was like, well, that's what your dad said.
that part right there. Yeah.
You'd be like, but you know, your dad said it, and that was the bottom line. So that united front, or, you know, that ability to put your own personal stuff to the back burner for the benefit of your children was something that, you know, I carried into my parenting. You know, just being able to say, you know, I say to my sons now, even today, still say to them, like, yo, I got your back 110. You know, and in saying that, sometimes I don't even sometimes understand what that means for me.
Right.
But you don't know what you're jumping into.
But I to put it out there, so I got to rock with it.
There you go.
Like many of us, I'll find myself going without to make sure that they got, or
Absolutely.
You know, and I got that, and I picked that up from my parents. You know what I mean? And like Cave, I think most of us, you know, if you grew up with a lot, you were a rare person, because most of us struggled.
Right.
Most of us didn't have a lot. And, you know, and I tell people, I laugh because I was like, yo, dude, I remember never having to deal with certain adversities because my parents went without stuff. You know what I mean? Like, and we be thinking like, oh, you know, we good. But I ain't realized until I became a little older and started looking at it like, yo, we ate, but they didn't eat.
They didn't eat.
You know what I mean? Like they didn't get a meal that night.
Or they had a lesser portion, like Cave said.
Or they had a smaller portion.
Wes, my dad he didn't buy clothes. Like I would get clothes, but he didn't really buy nothing for himself.
Man,
do that. Like,
but you know what though, Cave? That's part of, to me, that's part of being a good parent, man. That's just part of what it is. You know, sacrificing for your little ones, man. I mean, it's a total sacrifice, man.
Total sacrifice.
And I think that's the piece that a lot of folks, even some of the younger parents today, I hope they hear this, that it's that sacrifice that makes a difference in the long haul, because that consistent sacrifice in a child's life becomes these moments for those kids when they become older and become parents themselves. They're like, yo, you know what? This isn't foreign behavior to me. This is what I'm supposed to do. Right? This is the norm. As opposed to some of the stuff. And I mean, you know, I'm not trying to bash anybody, and I'm sure I'm not calling no names, but we all know parents, having worked in the school systems, having done programming around the city and in the county. You know, you see the parents and you're like, really? Little Johnny running around here with the holy sneakers and you rocking brand new gear? You just went and got the fresh weave, or you just went to the barbershop and you got the fresh cut, but your son don't.
That's called, to me, man, that's called not having your priorities together, man.
Absolutely.
That's the truth, Wes.
That's exactly what that is, right? And I'm thankful, like you brothers are, that we had parents that instilled those characteristics in us, so that we were able to say when we became parents, this is not foreign behavior. This is what should happen. This is how it should be done.
I'll tell a story, not to cut you guys off.
Go ahead.
About my athletic experience, and like Wesley was saying about his mother loving, and like my mother never seen me play live ever until my dad died. She never came to a game.
Wow.
Now it's good. Like I can say it now. I was pretty good. Like I was really pretty
good.
I'm
about to say, considering your skill set.
I was pretty good. but she had never seen me play live until my dad passed, because he was always present, Wes. Like from my baseball years,
Right.
you know,
Mhm.
from T-ball all the way to Babe Ruth to high school basketball, whatever. He was always the
Right.
sport person was. And when he passed away, I'll never forget it. That December 20th, I was hurt at the time,
Mm.
and I came back. I want to say January something, whatever the date was. I came back, and she was at the game. That was her
Wow.
first. And like, you don't realize the impact of that until hindsight. You know, hindsight is
Right.
always 2020. So I'm looking like this woman just stepped right in, like knowing
Right.
that we've always
Cave,
had,
what was your first thought when you saw her? Did you
like it
say
was almost one. I was just so happy to be back because I had been injured 9 weeks
Right.
at the time. So it was just a barrel of emotion, and I just pointed at her. You get what I'm saying? Just like, and she pointed back. You know what I mean? It was like,
Cave, how many points did you score that game?
I don't remember, but I know we lost.
Oh, he
it
balled out that day.
It was against.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah. It really didn't even like. It was such a great moment in my basketball career, because in hindsight, because I was like, this woman never seen me play live, and like they interviewed her, and she was like, even in high school, they would say, "Well, Miss Caver, you know your son's pretty good." She said, "Well, that's what I hear." And the reporter's like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "I don't go to the games.
I don't go to them games.
That's my son." Like I said, you know what I mean?
He better
Like,
get the garbage out.
yeah, like make food before you go to bed.
Right. You better get the garbage out.
You know, looking at that. So,
Yeah.
like you said, Wes, and those sacrifices, like her thing was she wanted to be the best support from my father and us that she could be, and it had nothing to do with what we did, you know, or accolades or anything. But when she passed, Ned and I had to clean that house. She kept every article, every
that's what's up, Cave. That's what's up.
And I'm talking about little clippings from about baseball and Little League. Like she had it.
That's what's up.
The scrapbook, yeah, she kept.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that comes from, you know, and I mean, I'll use this terminology. That comes from knowing the role, right?
Yeah, understanding her.
And so in your household, in the household, mom's role was to take care of the house, and dad's role was to make sure y'all were good in what y'all were doing out there.
Right.
And then when dad obviously when passed on, mom was like, okay, there's a void. I got to now stretch myself a little more.
Stretch myself. There you go.
Right.
But fill in the gap. And that's the type of parenting that has helped a lot of us become the people we are and the men we are and the parents we are, because we've watched.
Didn't go back to school, Wes. I almost didn't go back. When my dad died, I almost didn't go back.
Oh man,
because I was
hurt.
But
I know, Cave. I can imagine.
I was home and I'm thinking, here we go. I'm thinking, all right, I gotta help my mom.
It's a wrap, right?
I gotta help her. And this is the words that she told me on January 7th, 1992. This is what she said to me. I was sitting on the couch and she walked in and she said, "What are you doing?" I said, "What do you mean? Why are you not back at school?" And I said, "Well, you know, I'm just, stay around." She said, "I'm a grown woman. I'm your mom. Get up off that couch. Get back to that school
and go do what you're supposed to be doing.
And get back to playing."
Now Cave, that was good parenting, man. Because that was also a sacrifice.
That's a sacrifice. She
knew.
Right. She knew that I was thinking that. Like, this boy ain't gonna go back.
Because she sacrificed, because she could have, if your mom was selfish, she could have said, "I need him home.
I need him with me." Yep. She could have said that.
But she knew that wasn't what it was about.
That's right. She saw the bigger picture.
And she, right, I was about to say that. Well, she understood the bigger picture, because she said, "You've invested too much of your life into this
with me.
Right.
to let walk away."
Right. I'm a grown woman.
And she valued it. She gave you the look too, right?
Yeah, and I knew the next day I got on that train and went back to school.
Awesome stuff, Cave. Awesome.
Yep. That's huge. So I'm gonna segue from that moment, Cave, into this, right? Because I think all of us understand the value of parenting. We all understand the value of following a dream and locking in. So I'm a big advocate for leaving an inheritance for my children, right? I want to make sure, I don't care, and it doesn't have to always be monetary. That's important, but putting those characteristics, those life behaviors, those little nuggets that I can drop in my sons' lives to help them understand how to process, how to deal with stuff, how to critically think things through. Like all of those things are for me part of the inheritance that I leave in my sons and my seeds. Share with me a little bit from you guys. What are some of the things that are, or I don't want to call some of the things, but where do you rank that as a value system for you? Being able to leave something behind for your children.
That's huge.
Yeah,
that's huge. But mine is, Cave, you want to take that first?
No, you go ahead.
No, go West, go. You in it.
I mean, mine is both monetary and I guess I'll keep it really simple, man. My thing is, Dad has made a zillion mistakes. I want them to not make the same mistakes that I've made. And we've had so many great talks, so they know some of the things that Dad has done, and so I just want them to not travel down. I think we all seen that thing where you got the Y, you got the road of life, and you got that Y in it. That street, right? So I'm one of those guys that went completely as left as you could possibly go, and God has spared me. You know what I'm saying, Cave? I'm telling you, man. If it wasn't for God, I just don't know. Really, man. I mean, really. So what I want them boys to take from Dad is, man, just learn from Dad's mistakes, man, because I don't want them to go through some of the pains and some of the hurt that I've endured. Right. And so so I don't know. We come from a different era, man. We actually went outside and played. We actually went outside and had to have real fist fights and stuff like that, man.
Real growing pains, real growing.
Right. And I tell you, there's some of the things that I've been through. I don't, and I love my boys. I love them to death. I don't know if they built to go through that stuff.
And they're not, Wes.
So, man, Cave, I need these boys to listen to Dad, man, and they have so far, and I'm very blessed to have, like I said, I have the three boys, man. One is an engineer at 31. One is unfortunately, he's a retired veteran in the Army at 27, and the other one is in barber school. So, they're all doing pretty decent, man. So that's that's my thing. I just would like to leave, with them. To learn from Dad's mistakes.
Yep.
That's huge.
That's huge, though, man. Wes, we go back and forth all the time with that comment that you made about being from a different era. And I think that's a part of why we do what we do, is because this generation, I always call my kids inner city privileged kids. That's what I call them. Because they never had to catch the bus anywhere. They never had to walk anywhere.
Right.
They will never experience fist fights, which is unfortunate with all this violence and stuff, with these gun violence and stuff.
Right.
Because they don't understand the power of gun ahead. You may win, you may lose, whatever you fought. It could be your best friend. It could be someone you don't know.
Somebody you don't know. Right.
But you live to fight again.
Right.
And as far as an inheritance, it's like you said, we all would love to leave tons of wealth to them. But more importantly, look what both of you guys are saying, and I'm saying is I want to leave that legacy of those characteristics that was imparted into me. Not just from my parents, but from some of my friends. I learned so much from you, Ned. Wes, I learned things from you. Like those things you want to instill into your children and get them and surround them with people, because I've always told my kids this: you're fortunate enough to come from. I've never been perfect. I've made a ton of mistakes, right? But
talk about it.
I've been fortunate enough to people. I've had great relationships with people and friendships with people, so people know them that they don't know. You get what I'm saying? So I always tell them, be mindful of what you do, how you do it, how you speak to people, because you never know one who's watching or who you're going to encounter.
That's a fact.
And Cece always tells me this, Ned, everywhere she goes. I say, Uncle Ned, that's for her to say that, you know, it makes me feel good because she's connected to someone that's not directly her family, but she looks at him that way. And she doesn't call everybody that because she understands the difference. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I tell my kids all the time, just be mindful of what you do, how you do it, and how you treat people, because you just never know, man.
You never know.
Like, who knows you? Who knows your parents? Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, they may not know you, Wes, but she may say, "Hi, my name's Sierra Caver," and you're like, "Yeah, who's your dad?" Well, Brian Caver's my dad. You'd be like, "Oh, okay." I know his dad. You know what that'll do is it'll throw a red flag on him. He'll pay attention. Wes will pay attention, make sure she's all right, and that's the one. Like, it's just that character part, man. Wealth is one thing. We all try to leave that to them. And Wes, you just like me. I don't want our kids to experience, but the one thing I do say is they have to some extent, because I think that's just how we learned. Like, you know, certain.
We went to the school hard enough.
I was going to say that, Ned.
You know what I'm saying, Wes? Like, you know, when it get thick, my dad always told me, put my back to the wall. You're going to be in some places. You know, pay attention, know where the exits are.
That's right. That's right.
That's right. You know, if you go to a party or something, you got to watch the friends you keep close, because sometimes people set you up. Like, that's how we go.
That's how it's down.
We try to protect them from that. We don't want them to experience certain things. But like I tell my daughters and I tell my son, you know, my son, he's the oldest. He's 26. He's married. He's in the military. I tell him the biggest thing that my mom told me when I got married was, I went to her house after an argument with my wife, and I came in and she said, "What you doing here?" I said, "Me." She said, "You know, back over there.
Go home.
Take that shit home.
You get what I'm saying? Take yourself home and figure that out.
Go and work it out. Go back to your house.
Yeah, go work that
That's
out.
right.
I can't make you stay, but you ain't staying here." You know what I'm saying? So I tell my son the same thing. Like, you know, whatever you and your wife are experiencing, you guys have a beautiful daughter. You guys have to be mindful of the decisions you make, because it don't affect just y'all two. You know, we adults, we can handle it. Wes, you and your wife, y'all get in an argument. I ain't speaking to you for 2 hours. You don't gotta speak to me. But when your kids small, Wes, when your kids small, they like, "Well, what's wrong with you, Dad?"
Right.
What's wrong?
Right.
They ask me what happened, because
what happened?
What happened? What's going on? We good? Right. So, man, I just really want, like, the one thing that I do regret about my dad leaving so early is that he didn't get to meet my kids. So I always encourage, you know, talking about my lineage and who their grandmother was and who their grandfather was.
That's important.
Knowing who their family is and things like that. Take care of each other. You know, if something was to happen to me or their mom, you guys make sure you take care of each other.
Family first.
You know, family first. You know, that you have to be able to go to each other. And I know that's how your boys are, Wes. I know the same for you, Ned, because I watch your boys all the time. Them dudes, as much as they fuss at each other, they got each other's back.
Listen, they got each other's back. I don't ever have to question.
And I know,
you're absolutely right.
From knowing you, I know that's how your boys are.
Right, man. I'm blessed, Gabe.
Absolutely.
Bless,
same here, man. Yeah, I'm right there with you guys on that one, man. I think that it is so important, man, to put the tangibles in place for our children. You know, the dollars, they're gonna learn to make the money. You know what I mean? If you teach them the right methods, they're gonna make it. They're gonna get it and they're gonna lose it, because we've done it. Right? But the reality of it is, you know, one of the things that I always tell people, one of my biggest pieces to my son's existence is teaching them how to critically think.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's what you're talking about, Wes. That's what you're talking about.
I want them to be able to understand how to make the decision, how to process it, and then be able to move forward one way or the other. You know, when that fork in the road happens, hey, I've assessed which direction is the best direction for me to go. Right? Not just on some whim. They ain't flip a coin and decide off, like they've analyzed the moment. And so those are one of the biggest pieces for me, man. I want to be able to have that for my sons, because I've said to each of them collectively and individually, like, yo, dude, one day I'm not gonna be here.
Right.
You know what I mean? One day I'm not going to be here, and you got to be able to figure out how to do that and not be able to process it with dad's help.
There you go.
You know, hey Ned, you know a good thing that I think fathers should do with their children or their sons, especially fathers with their sons, or fathers even with their daughters. Man, I tell you, one of my students put me on to this. Actually, Cave, I think you remember when we had transition down at the Boys and Girls Club.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So one of my students taught me, because I believe it was me and Muse at the time, and then Free came a little later. But yeah. But one of my students taught me how to play chess.
Chess, yeah.
Man.
Critical think.
Right. There you go. Critical thinking, man. Thinking 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 steps ahead, man. And I am not the best chess player. I think I'm fairly decent, but man, it's an amazing, Ned, what you was just talking about, man, it just made me think of, and also with chess, you get a little quality time, you get some thinking, quiet time too, right? So I don't know, just that chess just popped in my head when you were talking.
No. That's definitely
those are important moments, man. I mean, whether it's chess or if you find some other critical thinking method that works, those moments with your children, male or female, your sons, your daughters, are important, and they're life lessons that they'll never lose. They'll never lose those. Like we just jokingly said, they might lose money, but you'll never lose the knowledge that has been put in you. Because hey, I lost it. I know how to make it again though, because I did it once. You know what I mean? Like those critical thinking, those life skills are for me the bread and butter for imparting or leaving an inheritance for my children. I want them to be able to figure stuff out in a way that helps them have better relationships with whoever they decide to be with. Help them be able to build better partnerships as they're building their own individual empires. Whatever it is, they've learned how to navigate and maneuver because of the critical thinking skills that hopefully they pick up from me.
Something new that I kind of just picked up too, Ned, and pity patting off of you, is discernment. Discernment.
Yeah.
So we definitely So just kind of
slow to speak. Sometimes I tell my girls that all the time. Just be slow to speak. Sometimes you just need to listen, and then you'll be able to play devil's advocate if you listen to what people are saying and what's going on around you. Sometimes don't be so quick to talk. Just listen.
And you know what? Dave, you know what? It took me so late in life, man. And it really did. I'm so mad at myself.
But we all kick ourselves with those moments.
Right, man. But yeah, man, I personally am trying to do better with listening. Listening is huge, man.
Huge, man.
Yeah.
It's huge.
And it's crazy, man, how something as simple as listening can make or break any moment.
That's a great skill to have, man.
Right.
It's a great skill to have.
It's crazy, because I honestly, even for most of us, when we think, even as men, if we would stop sometimes, close our mouths, and listen to what's going on around us, we would probably respond differently 9 times out of 10. You know what I mean? Whether right or wrong, we would still be like, you know what? I understand your side of it. Or I get your point. And that's enough sometimes to kind of neutralize a moment, get you to go beyond that heated discussion or that disagreement. And so, listening is huge. And if we can,
one thing that to piggyback off of what you were saying that just came to my thought, as far as the part, the one thing that I've learned recently, and I attribute this to just my faith walk as well.
Yes, sir.
Is just the intention or the context in which we hear, like where we are, how we hear things and how we perceive things. Like if your temperament matters. So if I feel a certain way about you, Wes, and you say something to me, how I hear that will determine how I react. And I try to to commit the young men, like, don't be so quick to just be on the offensive all the time. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes, like, just listen to what. I'm not trying to preach to you. I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I'm not trying to be your boss. It don't make you less of a man. It don't make you less. You get what I'm saying? Sometimes the context in which you hear things really, kind of steers which way you're going to perceive what someone is saying to you. You get what I'm saying? Like, Ned, you deal with it a lot dealing with City Hall. You've done it as an educator, Wes. You call a parent and they already on defensive because you ain't got messing with my kid, right?
Right. But you know what though? You know what too though? You know what? On the defense of all of the parents, man. I was not the best teacher in the whole world, I promise. But why I think I was a little successful was because I showed love, and I got a lot of love in return. And that's one of the things. That's one of the things as parents, not even black men or black women, but anybody that's on watching us today. I think we need to give praise to our children for the smallest things. Good job, high five.
Right.
It's encouragement.
Encourage. And that's what I would do with the students and the parents. They knew how I was. I showed love and I think I was fair for the most part. And I carried that same kind of attitude home with my boys, man.
Small victories. Small victories, Wes.
I'll even give you that. That's a victory no matter what, Wes.
Right.
And one of the things that you just stated was like when you say you think you might have been fair, there might have been times that you weren't fair. But because of the fact that you were consistent in doing it in love, even in the moments when you weren't being completely fair, they understood you.
Absolutely, without a doubt.
And I think that's huge as a parent, especially for men. We got to start understanding that. Listen, even if we make the mistake, and we all do, and we all have, we probably make some more before tomorrow's over. How we do the deliverance is always what's important. If I'm doing it in love and understanding, people are typically going to say, you know what, his heart was in the right place.
He maybe did it wrong.
He maybe did it wrong, but his heart was in the right place.
But he was trying.
You know what I mean? Listen, and that sometimes is just enough to get you through so that you can, again, have an ear to listen, have an understanding of where other folks are coming from, and then be able to process it in a way that helps you learn and then move forward.
Right.
That's huge. Right. Listen, we could do this dialogue all night, man. I got one last piece, man, I want to drop on the table. And then we're gonna close out with this one if you guys are all right with that. So I'm always trying to make sure that this platform that we use is helpful. And that's important to me. That's my ministry of giving. You know what I mean? I want to make sure that whatever we do, whatever I do, is benefiting someone, somewhere, somehow. Right. And so I don't ever want to close us out without having a moment to say, hey, what's the one thing we can give or say that we think might be beneficial out of this conversation, or something that might have just hit your heart that you want to just share with the folks who are listening right now that might listen later on and say, hey, here's what's worked for me.
I can start this one off, Wes.
All right.
And this is not me, bashing anyone's faith, beliefs, or whatever, but
yes, sir.
Through my faith walk, man, just learning, to be intentional in every aspect of my life, trying to be intentional in how you love your loved ones, be intentional in how you treat people, be intentional and just in trying to be a good person today. I'm going to be better at 6:30 than I was at 5:55. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
If I could say anything to kids, teenagers, young adults, seniors, anybody, if you could take anything, just kind of look at your day-to-day and just try to be intentional in everything you do. Especially just, how you treat your loved ones, how you treat people. I just think intentions matter. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If I'm intentional in how I want to speak and treat you, Ned, I know I'm going to do the right thing by you. You get what I'm saying? Or I'm going to try to.
Correct.
You get what I'm saying? Just to piggyback off, man, he could have been a little bit nicer when he said it, but my intentions were good. Like, my intentions is to help you. You get what I'm saying? I don't want you to, like you said, Wes, you don't want your boys to experience what you went through. No. So what I'm telling you, my intention is good. It may not feel good coming out when I say it the way I say it.
But boy, hey, they better listen.
You better listen because
if they know what's good for them.
Hey, Wesley, I always tell, like, my oldest son is 26. I say, "You been 27 before?" "No, I have." So you
Right.
gotta listen.
Right.
I have.
Right.
I tell kids, "How old are you?" 14. "You been 15 before?" "No, I have."
Good one. That's a good one. I'm using that,
That's
King.
solid.
Yeah, you gotta use it.
Yeah, we're
Hey,
still in that one.
I'm using that one.
Yes, sir.
Right. Whether good, bad, or indifferent, it gives me the right to speak to whatever it is you're experiencing because I've been through something similar, if not worse.
If not worse.
Right.
If not worse.
So true.
But just that intentional living is just what I'm
Yeah.
trying to adopt daily, man. And it's
Living
working.
with a purpose.
It's working for me, man. It really is. And
Awesome
good,
stuff, Cave, man. I'm so
What you
proud
got?
of you, Brian Caver.
I appreciate it, man.
What you got, Wes?
Man, I'm gonna keep it simple, man. I think I want to say, never, ever, ever give up on God, because if you're breathing at this very moment,
Yes.
then He hasn't given up on you.
On you. That's right.
There you
You
go.
know what I'm saying?
Yes,
I think I'm just going to kind of just leave it. I just want to kind of drop the mic right there.
Yes, sir.
It's nothing more that I can.
That's Mike Worthy dropping right there, dude.
It's nothing else that I can say. But I ain't trying to drop the mic on y'all. I love y'all. But I'm saying, man, that's God has not given up on you, because boy, you can blink your eyes right now. Boy, you could you got saliva in your mouth. I mean, you got teeth.
Yeah.
So my thing is, if I had to, if that was my last thing on this earth, I would tell my boys, don't give up on God, man, because He ain't giving up on you, brother. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's where I'm at with it, man.
Right. Nice. So forgive me for that little brief interruption. My son Gabe is trying to reach me. So I don't know if anybody knows. I'm in my car tonight.
I see.
Because I'm parked. See, this is parenting 101.
Yeah.
I'm literally parked in the parking lot at a high school because my son's sports banquet is tonight. So as soon as we log off, I'm jetting into the building. But this mattered enough to me as well. So I'm like, listen, I gotta have this conversation, but I also gotta still be dad. Yeah. And so, and that for me, one of the things, man, that I think that I want brothers and parents in particular, young brothers who are young, especially young dads, to understand, man, is to embrace the journey.
Yeah.
Be patient and embrace because it's not going to be, I don't care what anybody tells you, there's no textbook that tells you how to get this thing right. Ain't nobody going to run around and be like, yo, here's the ABCs to parenting. And if they telling you that, they lying, because it doesn't exist. But there's a journey that you can grow and learn through as you take your time with it. Like, just be patient with every moment.
It's called respecting the process, man.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And also enjoying the process, a little bit.
Right.
Enjoy it.
Exactly. Enjoy
Absolutely. The good and the bad. Yeah. You gotta learn from it. You know what I mean? Every day ain't gonna be peaches and cream. And you gotta know that. Yeah. As we do in the world of education, teaching moments happen every day.
Every day. And almost everything.
And everything, every aspect of your life.
So understand that every time we step up, every time that God gives us breath to wake up and open our eyes, we are preparing for the teaching moment. And that teaching moment isn't always us being the instructors. Sometimes that teaching moment is us learning.
Hey, what Cave just said, we got to learn to listen. I'm starting to do that, man. I am. Yeah. It's just so daggone late, though, man. If these young people, for real, man. You know what, man? If these young people out here and they watching, man, just take from me, just learn to start listening. Listen early, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Learn that. Right. So Ned, should I go ahead and reveal the surprise, man?
Oh yeah. Hold on. So Cave, what Wes has changed the narrative. So yeah, he did something different. So go ahead and because so I'm gonna give this one because my man Cave went there this past year. He went with the beard look.
Oh God, yeah, I tried it.
What happened, Cave?
I couldn't do it. It's a struggle.
So
Wes just switched up. So go ahead, Wes. I'm gonna leave it to you. Go ahead and give it to us tonight.
So I was inspired by Brother Ned. Brother Ned looked so good, Cave, the other day. I saw him on the book, man, and it looked like he was just glowing. I mean, really, it did. I think he had on like a pink shirt. You know, he was doing it, man. So I said, you know what, Wes? Man, maybe you need to do what your grandpop has been telling you to do for years. You know, he passed on now, but he was saying, he used to say, Dad, why don't you cut all that hair off your head and get a bald head?
You ain't got no bald head, Wes.
Cave, I went and did it, Cave. So being that we're at the barbershop, I thought it was just perfect.
It was perfect
for me to reveal.
I like that. Honor the shop.
Yo!
The balding.
Yo, don't put it back on.
No.
You can't put it back on.
But it fits you, bro. Like, I thought you was going to look crazy. You don't look crazy with it, though.
He look good.
No, you look good with it.
Hey, I was inspired by the brother Ned, man.
Yo,
repping it good.
You know Wesley was holding on to that.
Yeah, I've been holding on to it, man.
And look, this is how you know he was head, because he keep putting his head on.
Right,
yeah. hey, I might have this thing growing back next week, man.
No, Wes, it looks
That's right, though, but it look good on you, bro.
What the wife say?
I appreciate it. You ain't, hey, Cave, I'm about to stop you right now, Cave. You did not see me from the side, boy. I look like George the Animal still, man.
Oh, man.
I love it, man.
My man. Well, listen, Wes, I appreciate you, bro, stepping
always,
into the
man,
shop and cutting it all off.
Always, brother.
Love y'all, man. Listen, so I want to first thank both of you brothers, man, for stepping into the barbershop, having this conversation, being transparent, being real, and being honest with not only each other, but with the folks who are listening, man. I thank you. I am so humbled, man, by you sharing a moment of your time with us tonight. Know that it is definitely something I appreciate and that I value greatly, because I know that not only is your time important to you, but you know what you sow into is important to you. And the fact that you took a moment to sow into this initiative is something that I'll always cherish. So thank you both, man, for being on here with me tonight. I want everybody who's listening to understand that, you know, what we talk about tonight and the conversation that we've had, and that's how we operate. We just talk, and we're brothers who just come like-minded and just say, hey, listen, here's where we are with it. Know, though, that none of us are in this alone. Right. And that this process of parenting as a Black man in this country is a collective adventure. I'm gonna call it an adventure, because it is that from day to day, man. So know that whatever you need, however you may need it, there's always somebody out there that is willing to help you if you avail yourself to them to be helped. So reach out, even here with us at Royalty Network Ministry. If you want questions or you need help or you need support, know that we're here for you. We're always available. You can reach us on any of the media streams that we are on, whether it be Facebook, on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. You find it, we're there. Hit us up. Let us know what we can do to help you and support you, so that we can better each other, so that we can do better, not only in our communities and our cities that we live in, but most importantly with our families and our children. That we start building better generations as we build ourselves up to be better. So I thank everybody for coming on. Know that next week, let me put this plug in for you guys right now so that you know, please tune in next week, because you'll be blessed. We are celebrating our 1-year anniversary of Barbershop and Throne Room Conversations. We were fortunate to be down in Florida last weekend, where we did a phenomenal interview that will be broadcast next Wednesday right here on Royalty Network Ministries. So you'll get a chance to hear not only what we've been up to, but where we're headed when it comes to this wonderful platform that we've been fortunate enough to have, and hopefully will continue to have, to show folks that there's a safe place for you to be able to have conversations like this, to help yourselves and others grow. So again, I thank everybody for being with us tonight. I thank Brother Cave, Brother Wes. Love both of you brothers, man.
Enjoyed it, man. Love you guys.
So listen, I appreciate you guys. Have a great night. I'm gonna jump off because I need to get into this building, because my son gonna call me again in about 30 seconds. My dad, where are you? But again, we will do this again. As I say to everybody, man, if you've been on with me, know that you are home, man. This is family. You have an open invitation to come talk. You are always welcome on this platform. Even if there's something that you wanted to bring to the table, hit me up and we can make a conversation happen. All right.
Awesome.
Love you guys, man. Take care of yourselves. God bless to everybody out there who's listening. And always remember that you are not alone. Take care of yourselves.
Peace.
Yes, man. Peace.